Hey everybody, I'm Kevin, and I'm not childish, but I do like style. Not for me. Obviously, you can see that I have no style. What brought this subject up, though, was a couple days ago I was watching some advertisements, and I was thinking about how they're talking about the new season coming up and having to get your wardrobe in order and things like that. And I started feeling sorry, really, for people because they become slaves. Really, not the style anymore. It's even worse than that. It's just to having something new. And I kind of wondered about how that has come about. Of course, it's because we have media. It's because, you know, um, television, really. If we didn't have that visual, it would really cut down on it. It really has gotten to the point that it's not just that I have to have what's the latest for this year. It's just, I just have to have something new. And that is an addiction. That is a major problem. I can also point out a lot of things about, having credit cards and exposable income and things like that that cause us to buy what we don't need. And of course, our whole premise of television is that the advertisements pay for the television, and so the television has to draw, so the shows have to draw viewers to be able to get advertisers, and then the advertisers have limited amount of money to spend, so they have to do anything possible to trick you into buying their product instead of someone else's. And it has gotten to the point that a lot of people's main recreational outlet is to go shopping. The next one is to go eat. Actually, I think eating is first, then shopping. In fact, there's a funny thing. I say funny, it's not funny, but they say that the closer a not a government, but yes, just like that, I can't think of the right words. But the closer a company gets, a government gets to demise, one of the indicators of that is that chefs become popular. So if you see all the cooking shows and how chefs are acknowledged as, celebrities now and things like that, the importance that's put on the meal, not for family's sake or things like that, but to, we'll say, show your financial success. The indicator is that actually our form of government is getting ready to fail. Okay, now I'm not wanting to get into that because I want to go in a different direction, but I wanted to throw that in there. I'm in flow as this one mind smash says, which means I haven't practiced my speech here. I'm just talking as I talk. I'm in the style. Believe it or not, I actually like seeing what's worn on the red carpet. I like to see what the fashion shows are wearing, although fashion shows now have become less interesting to me. I guess it's maybe the fact that what people wear, on a night out is more indicative of what people could wear. But also, let's face it, I also like looking at women. Now, I'm fortunate in the fact that I don't lust after women, but I like to see the different outfits and I like to critique them myself. So I enjoy that. I also like looking at custom cars. I like checking out the interiors and the style that they used to show and to fit with the style of the car that they're presenting, and the modifications they make. These things are interesting to me. I think there's a certain amount of style in food, and I like to see that and understand what a cook or chef is thinking when they produce a meal, and what is popular and what isn't popular. However, there comes a point though that you wonder if all this stuff isn't just destroying us. And I think it is. The thing is what justification is there for constantly coming up with new ideas, or really, in a lot of cases now, just repeating the same old ideas? And I don't know if people notice because they haven't lived long enough, but pretty much any style you've seen out there has been done before. Maybe in a little lesser respect. I mean, like cars. The first custom cars were actually rat rods. And I'm talking about back in the 40s and 50s. They just jalopies that were made to go faster by removing as much as possible from them and then finding the biggest engine they could put in them, and paint and fancy body styles and stuff like that were of no consequence. It's just speed was all they were looking for. When they supposedly came out with the bikini, which really, I don't know when the real bikini came out, but I'm sure it was long before it was popular to have or wear one in the, I'll say, the 60s. But what else can you do to it? I mean, there's only so much you can do to a bikini. And so the fact is you're repeating styles. That's all that's going on. Maybe some different textures. Maybe they found a different way to combine colors. But you can only do so much because there's only so little there to do anything with. I really feel we've pretty much tried it all. Hairstyles. That's one that's back in the 60s and 70s. Long hair was a sign of revolt. It was, we're not going to go along with the establishment anymore, and we're going to think for ourselves. So the younger generation wore their hair long to protest, the establishment and its efforts to control us. And of course they had short hair. Now pretty much any hairstyle is acceptable. There might be a little bit difference in style here and there, but there's not a lot that you don't see out there, and it's pretty much in any group of people, any clique, any club, if you will. So style is kind of running out of places to go. And I just don't know what else we can do with it. Yet I do enjoy it. Maybe it's going to get to the point that we won't have any style at all. Maybe we're heading to a point where we're going to all be wearing the exact same thing. I hope not. Yet it wouldn't surprise me with the way we now want to try to control freedom of speech, when before it was the fact that freedom of speech was controlled that we, bucked the system. So now we're bucking the system of allowing free speech. It's crazy. But back to style, it's kind of funny. The other day my brother said something. He's a minister, and you know that I believe in Christ, and he says it's hard to have a conversation without including God in it, because he has an effect. He is the reason things are, going the way they are. Now, you don't have to believe that, and I'm not trying to promote that part of it. I am trying to say, though, that I think almost all of us have some kind of belief in a spiritual being, or maybe another dimension that's out there, and it is having an effect on us. But regardless, when you look at how we were designed, if you will, we're meant to think for ourselves, and we're meant to come up with our own ideas. And so that is actually bred into us, to challenge the status quo, to try things that we haven't ourselves tried before. And so we do things like find and have a love for style. And one person maybe is in clothing, and a person that is a hairstylist. Well, hairstylist, they're into designing your hair in the best way that they think is possible to make the best look for you, but also to expand their ideas on what is style. So it's funny, some time ago I had a girl give me a book called The Artist Way, and in a strange way the whole book had references to the Bible and statements in the Bible about it. Now, it didn't seem to be a religious book at all, yet it pointed out, and it was, I think, in chapter 5, I can't remember the author's name, but you can look it up on the internet. It'll come up. The Artist Way. It's a very good book, because it points out that if you believe in God, or believe in the spiritual world, or believe there is some form of plan to all this and how we were born, each of us, the fact is the person or the entity, whatever you want to call it, was creative in themselves. And so it would only make sense that we should be creative as well. So when you're, we'll say, choosing a career, and you're maybe questioning what good is style, why should I bother with that? Why should I become an artist? Why should I want to carve statues? Why, when I paint a car, do I want to add some stripes and accent the lines of the car? This is all part of the way we're designed. We're meant to do these kind of things. And so even if you're not a God-believing, God-fearing person. This is our makeup. And if you are one of those people, that if you are God-fearing, and you have other people telling you, well, what's the value in it? Well, the value's in it that God created you that way. And you shouldn't allow other people to, control your life. You need to make those decisions for yourself. As a young child, yes, you have to obey your parents. But as you get older, you got to think for yourself. And if you want to get into something that is stylish and creative, but you might say doesn't really have what appears to be a meaning biblically or something like that, you still need to go for it. I mean, race car drivers, their reason for being out there doesn't really, in itself, is just self-satisfying. The fact that they can race and win and things like that. But they have many things they can do because of that success that we just less fortunate people can. And so even if you become a clothes designer and you're able to reach out to the world because of your popularity, it's not something that's bad. It's something you can use to help others, regardless of your belief system. So, anyway, I guess that's part of the reason I'm in the style. But, and also, it's something I've had to evaluate and think about. It's something that has, I believe, helped me to become more immature. At a higher level of immaturity. More immature actually sounds like I'm going down. Higher level of immaturity sounds like I'm going up. I think I better remember that while I'm in the flow. Talk to y'all later.